Israel is in an uproar over the arrest of the top legal official from Israel's military. Tomer-Yerushalmi was forced to resign over the weekend after acknowledging that she had authorized the leak of a video showing Israeli soldiers appearing to sexually abuse a Palestinian inmate. Now, this case has exposed deep divisions in Israeli society. Tomer-Yerushalmi said that she authorized this leak because she wanted the public to understand just how serious this case was. She didn't want people to think that the army is just arbitrarily punishing its soldiers. However, Israel's right-wing government has come down hard on her. Israel's defense minister accused her of committing what he says a blood libel against the soldiers. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says this is the greatest PR disaster in Israel's history. The criticism continued even after her resignation over the weekend, and on Sunday, there was a brief scare over her safety. Tomer-Yerushalmi disappeared for several hours, and there were concerns that she might have actually harmed herself after her car was found empty, with the engine still running and a note left behind with her family. Eventually, she was found after a frantic search by Israeli police and military units. On Monday, she appeared with her former top prosecutor in court. Their detention was extended for another 2 days. The former top lawyer of the Israeli military has been arrested over a leaked video showing Israeli soldiers brutally assaulting a Palestinian prisoner. Major General Tomer-Yerushalmi resigned last week, saying she took full responsibility for the leak. She's now been detained on suspicion of obstruction of justice and breach of trust. Well, the footage was leaked back in August 2024, and it shows Israeli soldiers dragging and allegedly sexually abusing a Palestinian prisoner, hiding their actions behind riot shields. All right, let's cross over to Na, who's in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Nor I think it's fair to say that when this video was leaked to the media and internationally, it confirms something human rights organizations in Israel, organizations like Bet Salam, had been aware of for some time, that rape and allegations of degrading forms of torture were reportedly being used against Palestinians in Israeli detention. And now, news that the source of the leak was an Israeli military legal chief. Netanyahu, though, simply calling this a media failure. Walk us through the waves this case is creating in Israel. Well, this is creating a political and legal storm in Israel. Nev, on the one hand, you have the Israeli government coalition accusing this top general, that the chief military advocate of blood libel against the Israeli army, of defaming Israeli soldiers. Netanyahu went as far as saying this was the most dangerous assault on Israel's image since its establishment. And many in Israel are hesitant or really fearful, actually, of the fact that maybe Netanyahu and his coalition partners will use this as an excuse, as a pretext to introduce the changes they wanted in the Israeli judiciary, but also in the Israeli military. There is so much focus on the fact that this video was leaked, at the expense of discussing how this crime actually happened, and the fact that the UN says these kinds of crimes are being committed in a widespread and systematic manner. So in one way, it's an opportunity to kind of escape, to run away from these kinds of crimes that are happening, to deny that they're happening by focusing on this woman, on the fact that she leaked the video, even though ironically she was accused of shying away from opening investigations into abuses carried out by the Israeli army, precisely because she was afraid of the backlash of the Israeli right wing, and all we know that 5 reservists were indicted back in February for aggravated abuse and serious assault, February this year, I should say. So in a way, this leak has allowed Israel's justice system to go after wrongdoing in its own ranks, in its own facilities. And now, ironically, the source of that leak is also facing justice. I, I wonder if one case affects the other, whether one entirely eclipses the other, whether it undermines this case against the reservists. It's certainly eclipsing the case against those reservists, and it may in fact undermine the case against them. They appeared masked in a press conference yesterday for fear of being recognized and facing prosecution internationally. Because remember, Israel is under investigation at the International Criminal Court. It's still facing charges of genocide at the International Court of Justice. And in both courts, Israel had claimed that it has an independent judiciary, that it has thorough and robust investigations within the military law enforcement mechanism, and that it didn't need to face scrutiny by international courts. This prosecution of the military advocate, this focus on the leak rather than the crime, will certainly have implications at The Hague, where those investigations are ongoing. And that explains again why those soldiers appeared with face masks, wanting to avoid anybody recognizing who they are.